11 and 9-year-old. If an 11 and 9-year-old can buy their first asset, there's no reason that you can't do it. If you're an adult and you have a job, right, you should be able to do this. Just follow the stinking steps. If you retire at 62, 65, 67, right, those are kind of the average numbers that people are retiring at here in the US, right? And you live for another 20 to 30 to 40 years after that, AI and technology and all this stuff that's been going on with healthcare, right? It is very, very reasonable that people in our 40s will live way past that, right? By the time we get to that age, I'm not expecting or budget to 80 years old. I need to budget to 100 years old. And if I was going to retire in my early 60s, man, that's 40 years worth of budgeting that I need to do, right? At $100,000+ a year, that's millions and millions of dollars. So I want to show you how you can financially get prepared for that so that honestly you could retire in 10 years from now and then still live for the next 70 years, 60 years and have all those kind of things. And I would say that as we are progressing with technology and people are living longer, they're not really living longer. They're actually just dying longer, right? We see it day in and day out. Like people, man, it's honestly really hard and painful. People are not enjoying those last 5+ years of life. They're not full of puppy dogs and rainbows. They are super expensive and painful, and you start losing your memory, and people are more and more dementia and Alzheimer's because again, we're just living that much longer.
Long and slow. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks and it's expensive. So let's talk about the government's plan for this, right? Social Security, isn't that everything we need? Like, boom, just like release the fireworks. That's all we need, right? Social Security is a program that was started by the government in 1935. And the life expectancy at that time, when they decided, hey, you know what, let's make it, 62, 65 years old for retirement. Life expectancy for men at that time was 58 years old. So it was like, they weren't even paying for anything, right? Like, you're not even gonna be here, half these men, right? Women were 62 years old, so retirement age was 65. Like, the average person was not even making it that far, right? A fun fact that I learned, the average life expectancy of the US in 1776, when our country started, for a Caucasian male was 38 years old. Like, that's crazy. And I assume it's not skewed by the war, right? But like, just life expectancy over and over and over again is getting longer and longer and more expensive. So what the heck is your plan? Because statistically, right, no one's got a plan for this. So what we are looking at is the average American, I checked this as of 2024, right? The average American that gets to 65 years old, well, this two statistics is kind of skewed. The average is $100,000. They have $100,000 saved. And you might think, oh, it's great. But that's the average. That's including all of the millionaires and billionaires and everyone who's got their crap together, right? If you took the median amount, that gives you a better picture of what our financial system is like in the US. If you are 65 years old, the median American has a savings account of $13,400. That's like 2 months of end-of-life care.
Terrifying.
That's like one bill once you get cancer or something like that. Like, it's stupid. You're gonna get everything wiped out. And honestly, most times you have the man get sick first. All of the family's money is spent on these things. They sell the house, they, spend all of the money, and then the man dies. And then about 2 years later, then the wife gets sick and she has no money. And then she's reaching out to the kids, right? So just think of it from this perspective. You may think, oh, you know what? I'm not worried about this. What about your kids, man? Like, do you know how many adult children that we see having to fork up $8,000 a month after month after month for their loved one? Yeah. Like, dude, you gotta get your own crap together, if not for you, for your own children, so that you are not putting a $1 million burden on your children, because it can get to $1 million as you are declining over a decade.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, I know this might be hard to hear, but if you do not plan for yourself financially, you are actually selfish because you are not thinking about your children. And like Brett said, we see it all the time. We see the daughters come in or the sons come in and they have young families and they have their own jobs and they have, the sports and everything else going on. And this is, I'd hate to say it's a burden. it stresses their marriage, it stresses their relationship, it stresses, their parenting. There's so many things that it stresses them out. And so I think not having that in order, I feel like for Brett and I don't want to put that on our daughters. I don't want them to have that stress. I don't want them to maybe, be on marital rocky terms because we didn't get our crap together. And so I think that's the driving force for me and for Brett personally is we don't want that to be on our children. And so that's really our driving force and one of our whys as to why we are striving to be or why we are financially free.
Yeah. So I hope that this kind of gave you a little bit of pause and kind of, oh, you know what, maybe I should take this seriously, right? And that's really our goal, is to kind of show you the numbers and statistics and show you what it costs to die and to afford to even to take care of your parents, right? If you know that your parents don't have their financial stuff together, it's going to fall on you, right? It's going to your siblings. It's going to fall on somebody because the government, their options are horrible. Try walking through the big smelly facilities. They are nasty, and that is what the government option for you is. So we are preparing to take care of our own family. Maybe they need our help, maybe they don't, but we're still going to be financially prepared for that. So let's transition. Let's talk about what it looks like to be financially free. And I want to share a couple slides with you here. This guy right here, right? This guy, the baller with the cool car in front of the mansion and the sweet suit, this is not our guy. This is not what we're going to be talking about, right? This guy right here, this guy, he's a rich guy. He is not a wealthy guy. And there's a distinction there. There's a difference between rich and wealthy. And rich is someone who has a high active income, right? Somebody who makes $1 million, couple $1 million a year. Like musicians are rich, actors are rich, ball players are rich, big time businessmen, CEO, those are rich. They have a lot of income, right? They may not be wealthy. There is a distinction between the two. I know high school teachers who are wealthy. They're not rich. They don't make tons and tons of money, but they are wealthy. And the difference is super, super important. It's the type of income that you have. Both types, rich and wealthy, have income that comes in every single month, every single year. But is it active income or is it passive income? Because this guy right here, he's the one who's making big time bucks, right? Nothing against making big money, but that is him trading his time for money, right? That is an active income. Versus what we're going to be talking about over the next month is how to grow passive income. That is money you do not have to work for any longer. It means that you used to work for that money, right? It used to be active. You worked, you traded your time for money. That's totally fine. Everyone has to do that. You saved that money, you had a plan, and you bought something. You bought an asset. You bought something that makes you money, right? I call those money babies. Like, you buy something, right? You trade your time for money, you pile that money up, you buy an asset with it, and then every single month or every single year, that asset produces a little bit of money on its own, right? It has a baby, it just birthed this extra money. And then every month you just collect all the money babies and you put them into another bank account, and those money babies, they grow and they cluster up together, and all of a sudden, like, hey man, now I got another pile of money, right? You know what you do? You go buy another asset, and then it takes twice as fast for you to gather both of those piles of money babies, and now you buy a third and a fourth, and you snowball and you compound these things. This is the path for financial freedom. It is how to get passive income, money that comes in every single month that you do not have to work for any longer. You worked for the initial money. Now you're having babies and grandbabies and great grandbabies. And this is how the wealthy get super, super wealthy. This is how you create generational wealth, right? You can't pass generational active income down to your children, but you can pass generational passive income to your children. What if your parents heard this talk from me or somebody else 40 years ago and they did all this stuff, right? How stoked would you be if they said, hey, you know what? I have all of these assets that I'm going to pass over to you now. I just want you to steward them appropriately, hand them off to your kids, and make sure your kids steward them appropriately, hand them off to your grandkids. Like, wouldn't that be amazing? Isn't that what wealthy people do? They teach their children and their grandchildren how to be good stewards of money and how to be wealthy. And this is literally something that I don't think is complicated. And we'll talk through what the plan on these things are. But it's something that every single person, I honestly believe, every single person, that's why we teach all of our staff. Everyone can. You don't have to be a rich millionaire, but everyone could be wealthy over the next 10 or 20 years. So I want to share this definition. This is one of these definitions that I really like for this definition of wealth. Wealth is a person's ability to survive so many number of days forward. Or if I stop working today, how long could I survive? And I kind of just want that to resonate with a smidge here, right? Today's, I don't know, what's it, the 3rd or 4th or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you stopped working today, how long could you live for financially speaking, right? You have your paycheck, you have the money in your bank account. Could you live financially to the end of the month? Go to the grocery store, pay your bills, all that kind of stuff. If the first of the month came for next month, could you keep living into next month, right? If you could answer that question and say, you know what, I could stop working my job today and I can keep my lifestyle the same and I could live indefinitely. Every single month after month after month, year after year, I could keep paying my bills and living my normal lifestyle because I have wealth, right? Because I have income that continues to recycle itself and is just coming in over and over. That's what passive is, right? We're not talking about how to make tons of money, right? I'm not going to teach you how to make tons of money. You should make tons of money. And actually, I can teach you how to do that in assisted living. But that's not what we're talking about over the next few weeks. It is how to use a system and a plan, get together with your spouse, have the hard conversations, make the cuts, do the extra work, and say, you know what, babe, over the next 5 to 10 years, we are committing to do these things with these plans so that we can have this big why, right? What is our goal? What is important to us? So that is for every person to decide, you know, what really it is. But I think it goes back to this freedom, all right? This freedom of opportunity, freedom of choice to be able to do whatever the hell you wanted with your time, right? If you wanted to travel. If you wanted to stop working and retire early, then stop doing that. A lot of people that hit this, man, these are hardworking people that don't just want to sit on the couch, right? You may say, hey, you know what? I don't have to work anymore, but what are my passions? What did God put me in this earth to do? What am I excited about? Who can I help, right? If you have a bunch of extra time and you don't have to worry about your bills, what can you do? You take care of your kids? Can you take care of the people in your neighborhood? Can you take care of the nonprofits in your area? What excites you, right? That's what is super fun. I actually am really excited about this, about teaching people how to hit these goals. We hit it ourselves, right? And we teach our children this. I don't know if you know this, but our children have their own business. They make more money than their teachers. They save 70% of everything that they make, and they bought their first rental about a year ago, and they'll probably buy another rental property sometime this year, right? They are on this path. We are literally teaching them the things that we're going to teach you, right? If how old were they?
When they bought their house?
Yeah.
11 and 9.